Thank you for joining us. As most of you know, my name is Troy Jackson. I have the great honor of representing the hardworking people in Northern Mercer County in the Maine legislature and the privilege of serving as the president of the Maine Senate. Buy American, Build Maine legislation is certainly not a new issue for me. It's something that I've been championing for a long time. Even before my time in Augusta, I've just never understood why we look out of state to do the work in our own backyard without even trying to look if we can find Maine people and businesses that can do the job here. Too often our government spends tax dollars supporting jobs and businesses that are based overseas or out of state. And it hurts the workers, it hurts small businesses, and certainly our communities who deserve the opportunity to benefit from the economic activity generated by their very own tax dollars. It's a wasted opportunity to lift up the people, businesses, and products that have made our state great. In Maine, our small businesses and the hardworking people who run them, they don't just drive our economy, they are really part of our communities. Small business owners sponsor our Little League teams, they help out with band fundraisers, they donate to community food banks. They really are our family. They're our members and our neighbors and our friends. They're the people that we know, that we turn to in good times and in bad. And now more than ever, Maine-based businesses deserve our support as they rebuild in the wake of a deadly pandemic. In the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic, Maine businesses were forced to shift gears and overhaul their business model overnight to adapt to new health and safety measures. And despite the continued hardship they've experienced during this crisis, American workers and manufacturers have stepped up to serve our state and our country. This is true whether it's American Roots in Westbrook, Flowfold in Gorham, New Balance in Norridgewock, or Guilford Hardwood Products in Piscataquis County, and so many more, really. But now more than ever, we owe it to these workers and the small business owners to have their backs. This proposal is really quite simple. If there's work that needs to be done in this state and in this country, and taxpayers are footing the bill, then the people living, working, and paying those taxes in the state and country should have the first opportunity on these jobs. And if there are materials or parts needed to do the job, then those materials should be American made whenever possible. There are too many stories of Maine workers and companies losing out on state contracts to lower bids from out-of-state companies. The difference between the two bids is often just pennies. And don't take my word from it. Chris Lozier is someone I've known almost my entire life, and he's experienced it firsthand. And he's just one of many people that I've spoken to over the years that's had these problems, that don't understand why Maine government's not standing up for them. It's just not right. It's certainly not why I got elected, not why I wanted to come to Augusta. I want to fight for the people that are in my state, the people that have supported me in the past, and the people that are putting forward their best foot every day of the week to try and make things better for Mainers. And over the years, these types of policies have unfortunately gotten pushback from Democrats and Republicans alike, and it just doesn't make sense. When your job is to represent the best interest of 1.3 million Maine people, I do not understand for the life of me how you don't put them first. The goal isn't to be exclusionary at all. Rather, it's to support and lift up the people, the business owners, the jobs, and the products that we make right here in our own state. Other states and other countries already look out for their own workers and businesses, and I have example after example of that happening. According to the National Association of State Procurement Officials, 38 states have already adopted similar measures that are probably even more prescriptive than what we're talking about here today. This bill just tries to level the playing field here in Maine for the people that we represent here in Maine. Buy American, Build Maine is about lifting up workers, businesses, and quality manufactured products in our own backyard. And throughout this pandemic, Maine workers, businesses, and manufacturers have stepped up to serve and support our communities. They have the knowledge, they have the expertise, they have the products that can compete anywhere in the world. And we owe it to them to have their backs. Thank you very much. I want to introduce Kathy Leonard from Auburn Manufacturing. Kathy, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Senator. It's a pleasure to be here. It would have been sooner had it not been for the pandemic. I was asked to provide testimony last February on this issue, on the previous bill that was entered. And I was glad to do it then, and I'm even happier to do it now. We've been in business. Auburn Manufacturing is a 42-year-old business. We're in our 42nd year, I should say. Business of making heat resistant, fire resistant materials. And over those number of years, it's a long time, we've supplied the military as well as the industrial sector in the United States and beyond. We've exported to over 30 countries. And so we've been around for a long time. We know how the rules are played. When we sell our products to the military, there is a Buy American Act that is invoked. And sometimes the Berry Amendment is invoked, which means that 100% US content must be required. And so we've lived by those rules, and our competitors generally live by those rules. But when we move out into the industrial sector, and sometimes the industrial sector supplies the government sector, those rules don't always follow through. So to have this at the state level, that there's a Buy American content in the requirements is very useful. That then allows companies like us to bid to the subcontractors, or to the contractors. We would be a subcontractor, and to bid an American-made product and to be accepted for that. Oftentimes there are a lot of people out there that pretend that they're selling US products, and they're not. They're selling imported products. And as long as they don't have to prove it, it's just a don't ask, don't tell situation. And this little company's sick of that. We've called them out on it. We filed an anti-dumping case against China. It was a David and Goliath type situation. And by gosh, we won it. And not that it has been easy even since then, because there's always ways around those types of rules. So it's been a battle, an ongoing battle, but I'm proud to wage it. I'm glad to have my business in the state of Maine. We have 50 hardworking people who have been with us a long time. They're highly skilled at what they do, and we pay good benefits. We do support our communities. I think it's time that and especially this year, if there's going to be federal money that flows through to the state for a lot of infrastructure projects, we need to be there. So thank you very much for inviting me.
Now I'm going to introduce Ben Waxman of American Roots. Thank you for being here, Ben.
I gotta unmute myself. I had a senior moment there. I just want to say what Kathy said. If there's one thing that this pandemic has taught us all, the days of companies pretending to be American needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. Enough's enough. Members of the committee, President Jackson, my name is Ben Waxman, along with my wife, Whitney. We founded American Roots, which is the only 100% American-made and union-made clothing company that we know of in the entire United States of America. And we're proud to be based in Westbrook, Maine. We're the only clothing company in the United States that we know of that makes every single product, including the shirt I'm wearing right now, with 100% American-made material, and then proudly made by the USW Local 366 members and IUPAT DC 35. We pay good wages. We provide good benefits and health care and a safe work environment, just like my friend Kathy Leonard does in Auburn, Maine. That's not by accident, it's because we believe in it. We have experienced unbelievably fast growth since the start of this company, growing from 4 employees in 2015 and 900 square feet in my mom, Dory Waxman's shop in Portland, to the beginning of the pandemic to nearly 30 employees and 20,000 square feet. We pivoted our company last March for two reasons. One, we're proud Americans and we knew that our country needed us. And two, we did it to save our own company and to provide good paying jobs. We grew from 30 employees to 120 in 3.5 months, producing nearly 1 million masks and over 400,000 face shields. 95% of our business as we go forward, now that we are around 60 employees, is working with private companies, unions, educational institutions, and other entities who want high quality American-made gear. 95% of our business to date has been a client-based business outside of the state of Maine. I sit before you today in support of LD 1280. We are known as a state filled with incredibly hardworking people, innovative people. It is time that those people are able to compete on a level playing field. It is not a level playing field right now. Passing this bill is a first step. It is not the last step in leveling that playing field for the hardworking men and women of this state. It is unfair and above all bad economics to not allow Maine businesses the opportunity to compete on a level playing field with multinational corporations. We need to value the workers who make this state run on a daily basis, period. For too long, we have seen the lowest bid, and I mean the lowest bids, go the way of buying because of low cost. One must realize that while we may be saving pennies on the dollar by awarding out-of-state or overseas companies with significant contracts, there is a human cost and an economic cost to every single Mainer who pays taxes in this state. How can we possibly recruit smart, innovative, hardworking Mainers to invest and start businesses right here in this state if we do not allow for a level playing field against foreign competition? It simply will not happen by accident. LD 1280 is again a starting point, and it is our hope that with the passage of this legislation, it will be a building block and encourage and grow an even stronger, innovative economy here in Maine. This shouldn't be a debate. It should be law. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Now I'd like to introduce Chris Lozier of Chris Lozier Family Business. Chris, thank you for being here.
Thanks for asking me. Similar to the previous two, my problem is being part of the state's bid proposal system and having bids being sent out of state. In my type of business, which is promotional products, and we're talking about wearables where you can have your logo printed on it, or pens or keychains or any sort of promotional product item. If you're sending those kinds of winning bids to out-of-state corporations, when you've got somebody right here in the state of Maine that does that for a living, I just don't understand where the savings is when you're talking about pennies compared to what I would end up paying in an income tax or in a payroll tax or in some sort of tax that goes back to the state. And then they turn around and they send those dollars to an out-of-state company to get the same product that they can get right here. So I've been off and on the procurement site because there are frustrating situations that just turn me off, and I'd say I'm never going to do it again. And then I end up coming back and end up getting burned again. So I'm just kind of reaching out to voice my opinion, make people understand that if you're going to buy here, if you're going to live here and you're going to pay taxes here, you should be buying here. I mean, you're talking to a guy right now here. I don't shop on Amazon. I don't go to the websites to pick up stuff. I go to the local store. I support my customers, people who buy stuff from me. I turn around and I go buy stuff from them, and we have that working relationship where if we need something, we know who to call. I just wish that would be on the state level as well. So, thank you.